Welcome back to the Fracking Farmhouse. We've got Jelly with us this week, and I'm going to tell you a story about my dad, because my dad's an architect, and he got a very interesting job a few years ago by a guy called Bob from Poland, and he came over with not much money in the 60s, and he started a business. He made a lot of money, and by the 2000s he'd bought this house in West London. It's like a Latin style house, and he loved the house, but he wanted to recreate his grandmother's palace that he'd left behind in Poland. But if he'd applied for planning permission to alter this house into a Polish palace, the planners would have turned him down. So he employed my dad. And the first thing they did was they changed the windows, because you could do that under permitted development. Right? So the windows got changed and we had a different thing. Then he went to the planners with the new windows and said, this is what we've got this. Can we put some roof lights on it and alter the roof a bit? And that's the original, and that's what we're going to. And the planner said, yeah, you're only changing that a little bit. So they got permission for that. And then they went back and said, this is the house we've got. Now we just want to add a few pillars to it. Can we do that? Can we add some pillars? Well, it's only a few pillars. Yes, you can do that. And then they go back and say, this is the house we've got. Can we just add a few pillars and a roof light and a portico? And he ended up, got this house that he wanted. But the quote that so chuffed my dad was the planner said, this guy's he's beating us by stealth. And what he'd done, because each stage he'd gone to, he just applied for the next little bit of a stage. Now, what's this got to do with fracking? At the moment, yes, it has. At the moment, they're applying for an exploratory well at Marsh Lane to take out a core sample, and that's all that's on the table, and to return the site back to normal, back to the previous thing after 5 years. And that's what's on the table. But of course, INEOS are not a research company. They're a plastics manufacturer, and they want to get a lot of gas out for what they'll need, lots and lots of wells, and they'll need all the infrastructure to get it out. If they applied for that, they wouldn't get it. If they applied for permission for 100 wells and all the associated infrastructure, they'd say, no, there's no way you can do that on greenbelt land. So they're applying for one small thing, and they're saying it's just an exploratory well, that's all we want. And then they will build the well pad. Once they build the well pad, and then they've taken the sample out, if it has enough gas in, they'll go back and they'll reapply to the council and say, oh, we found enough gas in there, we now want planning permission to frack it. And that will mean flooding the well under high pressure. Marsh Lane is on mine workings. You know, the village is on mines, and they want to explode underground. At this point, they wouldn't say yes, but if you've got a well pad there, why wouldn't you? You'd say, well, we've got all the infrastructure, we've got the well pad, that's what it's for. Can't we frack the well to see if the gas flows? We only want to know if the gas flows after all. It might not flow, and if it doesn't flow, we'll pack up and we'll go home. So the council, they'll just have to say, well, you're here anyway, you can frack the well. And then they'll go, oh, the gas flows. The gas flows really well. We just apply to put another well pad over there. You won't be able to see one from the other. It's only another well pad. Well, you've got the beginnings of production here. Of course, you know, like it's only one more, so you can have permission for that. And then no point in having them without a pipeline, is it? It's only one little pipeline. All right, well, you've opened the door, haven't you? You're not going to stop. At what point are they going to say, nah, look, that compressor station, you can't put a compressor station on the green belt. It's going to run 24/7. It's permanent. It's not temporary like your other wells. This is 24/7, and it's noisy, and it puts off all this gas. No, you can't do that. And they'll say, well, look, we've got all these well pads. We've got an industry here. How can you stop it for a compressor station? Can you see where that's coming from? So you have to stop the first one. You have to stop the exploratory well. Because if you say yes to the exploratory well, you've given the nod to a whole gas field being built. Well, have a quick look at Pennsylvania, shall we? Back in the 2000s, this little GIF here from Frack Tracker shows back in 2000, in May 2002, one well. By January 2004, you've got half a dozen wells. Oh, they've slowed down a bit. 2006, they've moved into a different area and they're starting to spread. 2007, we're now getting underway and they're starting to go. 2008, and we got quite a rash of them. 2009, we're thickening up the rash. 2010, it's top right hand corners developing well. Oh yeah, 2011, loads. That's, you know, that's the Boland, that's the Marcellus shale. We're really getting dense wells there. 2013, all there over. 2010, by the way, was when they did Gaslands. That might have slowed it down a bit. And you see how the whole thing has built up. Pennsylvania is covered in wells. These wells are leaking. The methane that is the fugitive emissions are huge. There's going to be huge climate impacts from that. But it only started with one well back in 2003. Our country, the climate of the world cannot afford more gas fields. We can't start with one well. We're stopping here. We're stopping at Marsh Lane. Thank you very much for watching the Fracking Farmhouse. Say bye, Jelly. Thank you for watching the Fracking Farmhouse. If you like what you see, me and Oscar say, please click like and please subscribe to our channel and please share it with your friends. Let's get this thing out on Facebook. We are trying to get the message out there. We don't need fracking. Thank you very much.